Let's talk about something that I'm sure for probably the last 10 years or so is becoming a growing problem. But this is something I've just begun to notice, and probably should have noticed a long time ago. That obviously as technology has been more thoroughly embraced by everybody, and it's gotten better and better and faster, some things have been forgotten and sacrificed because of that. And that thing is, well, books and reading. Now, books are obviously still around. You know, you can get books. So you can read books online. You can download books via your iPad or tablet or your Kindle. But for kind of an old guy like me, I prefer to actually hold a book in my hand. That, and I can't imagine exactly how much a Kindle or an iPad or anything like that actually costs. And I can't really afford stuff like that. But what bothers me is that I've been noticing lately how more and more young people, usually between the ages of 18 or younger, or perhaps even a little bit older, all have either a very low or just an incredibly narrow-minded and idiotic opinion about reading, and it's the sort of thing that just makes you go, really? You know, and there's nothing I hate more, than people who say, oh, I hate reading. I think reading's stupid. And more especially if you're an adult and you say something like that. I can understand if you're a kid, because every kid hates reading. You just do. It's a fact. More especially, when you're growing up and you're, just learning how to read, because it's frustrating and it's very hard. And and maybe you're not very good at reading. Maybe you have a disability that hinders you from reading. That's why we have teachers and parents, in order to help you learn how to read and help you enjoy reading. Because, well, reading is, well, just a fundamental skill that we're all supposed to have in our daily lives, in our everyday lives. So, it's very discouraging when you're reading somebody's profile online, be they somebody you respect, be they, an actor or an artist or whatever. And you're reading through their list on their profile, of stuff that they like to do, certain things that they have interest in. And occasionally, there's a part in the profile where it says, oh, well, what books or magazines does this person like to read? And there's a brief sentence that says, oh, I hate reading. Or, oh, I don't read. And it's like, wow, my opinion for you just severely dropped. And, I don't like associating with people whose instant opinion about reading is books, ew, or I don't really want to talk to those people at all, especially if that's your opinion. Or even then, if you get people who do read, but the only books that they acknowledge or say are their favorites are books like the Twilight series. And I'll admit, I'm probably not the greatest example when it comes to reading. Hell, when I was a kid, and as I'm sure every kid was guilty of this, whenever I bought a comic book, I wouldn't even read the dialogue. I would just look at the pictures. And it's because, well, when you're a kid, reading is a chore and you hate doing it, but as you get older, you learn to actually just sit down and actually read the story to understand it, and then you have a better grasp of it. And reading is a wonderful thing. And I'm sure I don't need to say this or really elaborate on it. And it's not just, fantasy books, or science fiction books, or action books, or horror stories, or anything like that. These are, reading books about your own history, about humanity, about religion, about how we came into being, how the world works, how everything works. Reading allows you to use your freaking head, for God's sake, to use your imagination, to think for yourself, to have your own opinion about a specific subject that a book will tell you about. And how can you say that you hate reading? You know, it's the sort of thing where you just go, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, and the reason I say I'm probably not the greatest example is because the only books I've ever read in my life were all fantasy-based books. You know, be they, the Wish Song of Shannara books, or the Resident Evil books, or anything written by Stephen King. But at least those are very comparable books. Those are books that certainly demand a very high reading level and a lot of an attention span. And those were books that I just fell in love with, and books that kept me coming back for more and wanting to read and loving to read. And hell, Wish Song of Shannara was the first book I remember just grabbing just out of pure instinct. You know, not because anybody, told me like, oh, you'll love this book. And it's not like any teacher actually assigned me the book. I just happened to be walking through the school library one day, saw it, the cover captured me, and I just started reading it, and I got hooked. And then, of course, my sister, she turned me on to Stephen King. So, actually, she turned me on to Stephen King at a very young age. Probably at an age where you shouldn't be reading Stephen King. But, nonetheless. But, man, I just don't get it. Yeah, and some of the people that I've asked about reading, they all have, very high opinions about reading, but then again, maybe that's because a lot of my friends and people that I know aren't all idiots. So, I don't know. It's just... And I understand that obviously that we live in an age where everybody is plugged in. Everybody's online. We're all umbilically attached to our electronics. We're all on our computers. We're all blogging, we're all vlogging, we're all watching videos, we're all making videos, we're playing video games. And I don't think the internet is evil. Obviously, I don't think the internet is evil, for Christ's sake. I'm on the internet constantly. I love the internet. Hell, the internet allows us to be able to communicate with other people, to share our ideas or our thoughts with other people, and the very other people. Yeah. So, it's just silly. And the internet is certainly not something that discourages reading. Hell, there are blogs for that. You can read blogs. So, and you can read books on the internet. So the internet, I don't think the internet is certainly anything that will discourage reading. If anything, I think the internet helps promote reading. So, really, who's to blame? Well, that's kind of up in the air, really. Ultimately, I think it comes down to choice and preference. But, good God. I mean, the minute somebody just says, oh, I don't read because I hate it. No, thank you. Not interested. You go on your separate way. I want nothing to do with you. Anyway, I'm sorry. This is something I just really wanted to get off my chest. But this is a new day. It's a new year. We're still alive. But nothing really changes. Well, little things change every once in a while. Little changes every once in a while. Either things get a little bit better, or they just get a little bit worse. I don't know where we stand right now. So what I do know is, if you're ever bored, you got nothing to play, you got nothing to watch, you don't know what to do, how about you curl up and you read a nice book? See you around.